Fighting in Iraq escalating. Now, AAA warning. Get ready for even higher pump prices this summer. And what are some lawmakers doing about it? Calling for a gas tax hike. Yep, they say we need it to fix roads and bridges here at home. But is this any time to jack up the cost of gas at home? Hi everyone, I'm Brenda Butner. This is Bulls and Bears. Here they are, the Bulls and Bears this week. Gary B. Smith, Jonas Max Ferris, John Layfield, along with Gary Kaltbaum and Sasha Burns. Welcome to everybody. Okay, so Gary K., the mess over there already hitting us at the pump here. Now they want a 12-cent a gallon tax hike?
Well, it's not enough that they raise marginal tax rates, Obamacare taxes, payroll taxes. Now they want to go after gas taxes at a time where gas prices are spiking, where Iraq may blow up here, which means they're going to spike further. This is the worst possible time. A 12-cent tax take $13 billion out of the economy, meaning the taxpayer, not the time. And let me just say this. They're going to spend $3.5 trillion this year, this government. That's double what they did 14 years ago. They have plenty of money to fix the roads. Leave us alone.
Okay. Jonas, you've been talking about hiking the gas tax for quite a while, but is now the right time?
Probably since the 1993 when they last raised the gas tax, well, which is one of the many, many reasons it needs to go up, which is it has to keep pace with the costs of improving roads. It doesn't, the money's not going to leave the economy. It's going to go out of your pocket and into the roads that need to be fixed. It is a good time. Okay, it's never a great time to raise your cost. No one wants prices to go up, but compared to any time in maybe the last decade, I can't think of a better time because our consumption of fuel is lower and our production is higher domestically. What better time has there been in decades that I could say that we could handle just bringing this back up to where it should be, adjusting for inflation? Okay, Gary B., answer him.
Well, first of all, I want to point out, it looks like Jonas is finally on Twitter. I think that's the big news right now. He's not been on Twitter before.
Finally.
18 followers and counting.
Second of all,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Jonas always defaults to this. Well, listen, it goes from one pocket into the other, so it's not wasted money at all, except when it goes through the government, which acts as an inefficiency filter. You give the money, the government is this gas tax. Does it all go to fix the roads and highways? No. It goes to build bike paths. It goes to the bridge to nowhere. The government treats all taxes as a big slush fund that they can spend as they want. I would agree with Jonas totally. We would have, though, enough money in this to fix the highways if they actually use the gas tax to fix the roads and highways. But they don't. They use it for silly stuff.
Well, Sasha, that is a good point because there are plenty of potholes out there. I mean, we face them every day. Our roads do need fixing, but the money doesn't always go there if we hike taxes.
Well, that's right, but the problem is the way that it's handled now is, speaking of inefficient, is it's transferring pots of money around from within the taxes that are already taken in, because we don't have this enough dedicated money to keep up with inflation, like Jonas said.
Yeah, but is it going to be dedicated? I mean, it hasn't in the past.
It should be, but you know,
okay,
whether or not the government does something efficiently doesn't mean that you can't do it, right? Because otherwise, where would we be? We'd have nothing happening. But you have to keep up, and there's not enough money to pay for this. So do we legislate by crisis and wait till some bridge collapses and we all watch these cars plunge into the water, or do we figure out a dedicated source of highway funding?
Okay, John, what do you think of that?
I think that Jonas's dog is actually the one on Twitter, not Jonas. That's why the pictures are so cute.
And remember hashtag Bulls and Bears. That's our Twitter. Get in on it.
More followers than Rihanna.
I don't think right now is the right time. And the reason is last year we had the sequester, we had national parks closed, we had a very low driving season. It's going to be significantly higher this year. You add into Iraq and the problems that are there and the contagion effect that could happen probably just within the country of Iraq. But that's a very big deal. I'd rather do it in the fall. But the problem is what everybody's talking about. Up to 20% of the transportation fund, according to Senator Coburn, is spent on bureaucratic pet projects. So we're wasting that money. Look, the lottery was sold to southern states that it was going to help education. So people gladly accepted the lottery because of that, and it went into the general fund. Surprise, surprise. Politicians lie. They nearly all lie. They want to get reelected. This money, if it goes into the government coffers, is just just going to get lost in the system. If this went toward transportation and roads and bridges, I'm 100% for it. I don't think it will, though.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Gary Kay, let's talk a little bit about how far you expect gas prices to go up with this Iraq crisis.
Well, it's going to depend. Look, right now we're hearing that the bad guys are getting some of these one of the big refineries. If that occurs and supplies get constrained, I can promise you prices will go higher. Iraq has a ton of exported oil, so that would not be good. And look, every dime counts at this point in time. And let me just say this. When can we possibly trust government to do the right thing with the money we do give to them? We were told the stimulus bill, $800 billion, a ton of it would go to infrastructure. I don't think a dime went to it. I just don't trust them with our money.
Jonas?
Look, when we just heard 20, let's pretend 50% of the money is just bribes and paying union guys to stand around, eat donuts, and hold up the sign that says one-lane construction. That's possible, but it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is not raising the money means that the roads are not going to get fixed. You got to take that part.
They have the money.
You're acting like the waste goes away if you starve them. There's never been proof that they're going to all of a sudden, let's get more efficient and stop throwing the money away. They're still going to build a bridge to nowhere. The fact of the matter is the other potholes have to get fixed with the waste equation still there, so we don't really have a choice but to keep up with the road costs and just figure some of the money is going in the garbage because Apple Computer is not going to build the roads for us. The government does. It's the only way to do it.
Okay, Gary B. I know he's talking your language.
Well, why Jonas is not an elected official is beyond me. I mean, he just, he's brilliant. He's brilliant at the
because he has the perfect ticket.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you did ask a good question, though. How high can the gas prices go? I think at this point, they're kind of self-limiting. We saw that the last time they went over $4. Right now, people have a lot of options, especially in the summer when they have a lot more time off. You know, if you were going to take a vacation and drive from D.C. to North Carolina, for example, and you look at the price, say it's $4.25, you say, you know what? Let's just stay around here. They have those choices in the summer. People get a lot more vacation. The other choice they have, which we didn't have back in the 70s, for crying out loud, we can work at home. People say, you know what? I'm just gonna go into work 3 days a week instead of 5. So we have a lot more choices. That's why I think when we get over $4, people start to pull back. We saw that in the last spike in gas prices. I think we'll see it in this one also.
And John, the U.S. is producing its highest level of oil production in years. Does that factor into this?
Absolutely. Look, we lost 1.3 million barrels a day in Libya. They went from 1.5 to 200,000. That has been taken over by production in North America predominantly. You could lose up to 2 million barrels in Iraq, and Saudi Arabia can take over that extra capacity. Once you start losing above that, North America does help, but you can't cover that shortfall. If the terrorists, the ISIS group, takes over Baghdad, which is probably around a 50-50 proposition, I think you're going to see oil prices go significantly higher because from there they go north and they go into Kurdistan. They're not going to take the Shia lands in the south because Iran is going to help those people. But if that happens, that's probably the worst case scenario. I think you could see gas prices go to $4.50, even $5.
What do you say, Sasha?
Well, I think that that it is true what Gary said. I mean, there's almost a sort of a perverse reaction that actually the higher the price goes up, the more that people make better decisions in terms of not using so much oil. So there's almost sort of a windfall that you get out of it. But I think it just remains to be seen what happens in Iraq.
Okay. Thanks, guys.